The disappearance of 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery garnered worldwide attention when police made a horrific discovery. Undeniably the most heartbreaking aspect of the case, the full extent of the crime's brutality remains largely unknown by the public. Kayla Montgomery's testimony during trial would vividly encapsulate crucial details, revealing her witnessing the abuse but failing to intervene. This testimony adds a significant layer to the intricate web of evidence and multitude of witnesses involved. In order to grasp the full complexity of this case, a meticulous chronological deep dive is essential, which will offer a comprehensive overview of the events. The story begins in 2012, when Adam Montgomery began his relationship with Crystal Sorey. This oftentimes involved frequent substance abuse, a persistent and reoccurring element in this case. Before proceeding, it's important to establish Adam's criminal background, which will provide critical context, shedding light on his lifestyle and behavioral tendencies. When delving into the criminal background of Adam Montgomery, a pattern of escalating offenses emerges from his juvenile years. At age 16, Adam was charged with possession of a dangerous weapon on school grounds, marking the start of his frequent encounters with the law. Adam was also charged with threatening his girlfriend with a knife, which led to his detention of 110 days in a juvenile center. Adam was later convicted of a robbery, breaking into an apartment and demanding money at gunpoint from 2 women. At age 18, his criminal behavior intensified, culminating in charges of stabbing a young man in the leg and pushing him out of a moving vehicle. Adam's last charge was an incident where he shot a man in the chin during a botched drug deal. In June of 2014, Harmony was born, being placed under foster care at birth simply for her own safety, as the couple inevitably lost custody of their child due to potentially hazardous conditions. This led to the couple's separation and divorce due to legal conflicts. In 2016, Adam would date an old high school friend named Kayla, eventually conceiving 3 children of their own. Harmony was placed back in Adam's custody after the state recognized that he was able to hold a job and purchase a home with his new girlfriend and soon-to-be wife. Kayla would claim Harmony on her DHHS account, collecting $129 a month to be used solely on Harmony. The Division of Children, Youth and Families, or more commonly referred to as DCYF, would deem the couple fit, and Harmony was released back into Adam's custody. It's uncertain whether Crystal had any visitation rights at this point. Crystal claimed she had a bad feeling, stating that she knows the violent nature of her ex-husband and feared for Harmony's safety. To make matters worse, Crystal also stated that over a FaceTime call, she noticed that Harmony seemed quite scared. It wasn't until a few months later, Adam's uncle, Kevin Montgomery, stated upon returning from vacation, he noticed Harmony had a black eye. When Adam was asked how Harmony received this injury, Adam stated that he bashed her around the home. Fearing for Harmony's safety, Kevin would notify family, friends, and DCYF. Detective John Dunleavy of the Juvenile Division was assigned to the case. It's uncertain whether police took immediate action, as the incident report has since been redacted. In August 2019, the couple faced eviction from their residence due to their inability to maintain mortgage payments. Consequently, utility services were discontinued, and the couple resorted to squatting in the home, utilizing a generator for power. Law enforcement was alerted and conducted welfare checks on 3 occasions within a 3-month period. During these visits, officers observed the presence of a functioning generator and food supplies, noting that the children were safe. Over the next few months, attempts were made from a family looking to adopt Harmony, but failed to do so. In September 2019, Kayla's mother, Christina, reported having last seen Harmony the day after Thanksgiving. Following the couple's eviction by U.S. Marshals, Christina asserted that they were now homeless and residing in their vehicle. DCYF was notified once again, and multiple attempts to locate Adam was made, all of which were unsuccessful. Kayla was eventually located and asked about the whereabouts of Harmony. Kayla stated that Adam took Harmony back to live with her biological mother, Crystal, but this was far from the truth. Hindsight affords us the clarity to comprehend the events of that fateful day. A 4-hour testimony during trial revealed the gruesome actions that Adam and Kayla attempted to conceal. The testimony commenced with Kayla stating that the defendant began assaulting Harmony after detecting the odor of urine in the vehicle. It is crucial to note that Harmony was potty trained prior to Adam's custody, which leads many to believe that the child's fear led to her urinating on herself.
That morning, where did you wake up?
At Colonial Village.
And what happened first thing in the morning that morning?
We went to the methadone clinic.
And before you left for the methadone clinic, did Harmony have an accident?
Yes.
And what did the defendant do before you went to the methadone clinic? What did the defendant do to Harmony after that accident?
He was yelling and screaming at her and punching her in the head.
How did she react to that?
She was crying.
You mentioned the methadone clinic. Was that Habit Opco?
Yes.
And what did you do at the methadone clinic that morning?
Got my dose of methadone, and Adam got his also.
To provide context, methadone is typically used to combat the craving for more potent substances. It produces similar sensations while preventing withdrawal symptoms and cravings. Kayla states that after the couple refilled their prescription, Adam began assaulting Harmony once again due to the odor of urine within the vehicle.
Can you tell the jurors what happened when Adam returned to the vehicle after his methadone treatment?
When Adam came back to the vehicle, he could smell urine, and he started yelling at Harmony and kept hitting her in the head repetitively.
Where were you when he smelt that accident? Where was the vehicle when he smelt that accident?
In front of the methadone clinic.
Did you discuss going somewhere with him at any point that morning? Going to get food?
Yes. I asked to go to Burger King.
You asked to go to Burger King?
Yes.
The couple then drove to Burger King with their 5-year-old daughter slowly dying in the back seat.
What was Harmony doing at that point when he started driving the vehicle?
She was crying a lot.
She was crying a lot?
Yeah. And she was making a weird noise.
Was she saying anything?
No.
And Kayla, I want you to walk the jurors through in as much detail as you can.
Kayla vividly describes Adam's abuse towards Harmony, mentioning her half-hearted attempts to stop him, which ultimately failed. This occurred while their 2 younger sons were also in the back seat.
Did you try to help Harmony while he was striking her?
Yes.
Tell the jurors what you did to help, to try to help.
I put my arm up and said to stop, but he looked at me and he gave me this look that was like evil. His crazy eyes. I didn't like it, and I couldn't stop him from hitting her, because the look that he gave me was scary. I was scared.
What were you feeling when he looked at you like that?
Like he was either gonna hit me or just, I don't know. It was weird. And that was like one of the first times that I've seen him look at me like that.
Was it the last time you saw him look at you like that?
No.
Okay, and we'll talk about that more. But I want to focus on this drive. You said that Harmony's crying. She's making this weird noise.
Yeah.
Where was she in the vehicle?
She was behind the passenger seat.
And who was in front of her in that car?
I was.
You described the defendant almost coming over the seat.
Yes.
Was he still driving at that point?
Kind of. Between the red lights, and it definitely at the red lights. I remember that.
How was he striking her?
By punching her in the head.
Where were your other 2 children at that time?
In the back seat.
And what were they doing?
They had no idea. what was going on.
How old were they?
Seamus was about 2.5, and Declan was 11 months old.
Did you look back at Harmony at any point?
No,
Why not?
because I was scared.
What were you scared of?
If Adam was going to say something, or if he hurt her really bad, it was going to look really bad.
You were scared of what Harmony would look like? That attempt to intervene, were you successful in that?
No.
Did he stop after that?
Shortly after that,
Shortly after that. Did he say anything to you when he stopped?
he said he thinks that he really hurt her, and he felt something.
When he said that he thinks he really hurt her, where was the vehicle at that point?
At Burger King?
At the Burger King?
Yes.
And what did the defendant do after he stopped hitting Harmony, after he said, I think I really hurt her?
Nothing.
The couple purchased food from Burger King with no mention of buying anything for the children. After finishing their meal, they proceeded to buy drugs.
When you arrived at the Colonial Village parking lot, when you arrived back there, what did you and the defendant do?
We got drugs and got high.
When you say we got drugs and got high, what drugs did you get, Kayla?
Heroin and crack.
Shortly after getting high, the vehicle's battery died, leaving them stranded on the side of the road with their 3 children. It was then that Adam realized that Harmony had passed.
And the car died when we got to the traffic light, and it wouldn't start or anything. And so we were stuck without a vehicle.
What was the defendant doing when the car died?
He was trying to get a jump, and there was no jumping the vehicle, and so we ended up having to leave it. And when we were getting out of the car and getting the kids out of the car, Harmony had passed away.
Let's talk about that. When you say Harmony had passed away, when did you realize that Harmony had passed away?
When Adam was trying to wake her up and she didn't reply or anything.
Aware of their child's death, Adam committed an unthinkable act. The following testimony is graphic in nature. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Was he saying things to her to try to wake her up?
Yeah, he said Harmony, and he kept saying baby girl, like, and trying to budge her, and there was nothing.
Was he touching her?
Yes.
What was he doing to her body at that point?
Trying to figure out what to do, and getting all the kids out of the car. He took the duffel bag that was in the trunk, and put her in the duffel bag.
Kayla then detailed what Adam did with Harmony's body. She also explained her reasoning for not contacting the police, claiming fear. However, this seems contradictory as Harmony was not reported missing until 2 years later, giving Kayla ample time to come forward.
How did he put her in there, Kayla?
He, like, folded her in half and put her in the double bag.
Did you attempt to get away, to run?
No.
Why not?
'Cause they had the 2 other kids, and I was scared.
What did you do after he put her in the duffel bag?
We took the kids and we walked back to Colonial Village.
What did you do once you arrived at Colonial Village?
Put the bag in the snowbank so Anthony wouldn't see it.
I'm sorry, so that who wouldn't see it, Kayla?
Anthony.
That's Anthony Badero.
Yes.
Bodero, unaware of what Adam had done, agreed to help drive the couple to their car and retrieve their belongings. When they arrived, their car was already being towed.
That vehicle was your home at the time.
Yes.
What did you do after that in terms of a shelter?
Bodero let us sleep in his car for the weekend until I figured something out.
And do you recall how they came to be living in your vehicle? What was? Can you tell the jurors what that conversation was like?
Well, from what I recall, they gave me a call and told me they had no place to go. They came to where I was staying at. I let them upstairs. We talked, and I told them, I was like, I could let you stay in my car, but I can't let you stay here because this is not my apartment. And that was the arrangement.
During those 2 evenings, or those 2 days that you allowed them to stay in your vehicle, did something happen to your vehicle during that time?
Yes. The first night, I guess, from what they told me, Kayla didn't know how to drive a manual transmission car. She turned it on for the heat, and it killed the battery. And I guess when he woke up, he went somewhere, supposedly from what they said, he went somewhere in the middle of the night to get a portable car charger. So by the time the next day when I came out, they already had the car started. So I don't know. I wasn't around, so I don't know.
Mr. Badero, do you recall specifically who told you that information about Kayla starting the car?
They were both telling me. They were both together.
Do you recall telling investigators that the defendant actually gave you that information?
No.
They were both together when you learned it?
Well, yeah, they were both together.
Did you provide them any items during their two days in your vehicle?
Yes.
You tell the jurors what you gave them?
I gave them leftover Thanksgiving dinner one night, and then the following day, I bought 2 pies from Domino's Pizza, and I gave them a pie, and I still with a pie for me and my wife.
Where was Harmony's body at that point when you were living in Mr. Badero's vehicle?
In the trunk of the car.
And did the defendant ever move it from the trunk of the car to another location?
Yes.
Where would he put it?
Near the dumpster,
Why?
so Anthony wouldn't see it.
Did something happen to the vehicle that first night you were staying in Mr. Badero's car?
Yes, the battery died.
What did you and the defendant do for food during your time in Mr. Badero's car?
Bodero bought us pizza.
After using Bodero's vehicle for the weekend, the couple went to Kayla's aunt's home to contact her mother, who eventually picked them up with Harmony's body still inside the duffel bag.
Did you end up seeing your mother that day?
Yes.
How did you come to see her that day?
She came to pick us all up, myself, Adam, and the kids, the 2 boys,
Where was Harmony at that point?
in the duffel bag.
And how did your mother pick you up? How did she arrive at your aunt's home?
She came in her van.
And what happened to that bag that Harmony was in when your mother came to pick you up?
We put it in the van.
And when you say we put it in the van, who put it in the van?
Adam,
What did he do with Harmony's body when you arrived at your mother's home?
he took it out of the van and put her on the side near the trash at first until he figured out where to put her.
And what did he figure out in terms of where to put her?
There was a cooler in the hall walkway that the residents used to get in and out of the building, and it was on my mom's floor level in the hallway. And he put the he put the duffel bag in the cooler.
And what was in the duffel bag at that point?
Harmony.
Kayla was shown photos of the cooler, which she identified and confirms. The images were then moved into evidence.
Kayla, how did Harmony's body fit into this cooler?
Adam pushed it in the cooler so it would fit.
Were there any noises when he did that?
Not that I remember.
How long was she stored in that cooler for?
For a couple weeks.
Where did you go after living with your mother?
To the FIT shelter, Families in Transition.
After leaving Harmony's body in the cooler for weeks, the couple eventually moved to a family shelter where Adam relocated Harmony's body once again.
And when you moved to the Families in Transition shelter, is that FIT, the FIT shelter?
Yes.
When you moved to the FIT shelter, where was Harmony's body?
Adam put her in the ceiling, in the vent of the room that we stayed in.
And how did he access the ceiling to store her in there?
He used the bunk bed and climbed up in the ceiling.
Was there something that allowed him to access the ceiling that was above that bunk bed?
There was a vent.
And who slept under that vent?
The kids.
Where did the defendant sleep?
We all slept on the floor on the mattresses.
Kayla was shown images of the vent and ceiling, which she confirmed, and the photos were moved into evidence.
At the time you were living at the Families in Transition shelter, was there anything going on with Harmony's body? Was she having any changes? Or was her body having any changes?
Yes.
And I want you to tell the jurors what those changes were.
You could smell a horrible smell that was coming through the vents.
Do you remember that horrible smell?
Yes.
Did maintenance come at some point while you were living there because of that smell?
Yes.
And what happened when those maintenance workers came?
Adam took her back down from out of the ceiling and brought the bag in the bathroom.
And what happened when Adam brought Harmony down from the ceiling?
That she was starting to smell and there was fluid leaking.
Kayla claimed that Adam transferred Harmony from the duffel bag to a trash bag in an attempt to conceal the odor from her decomposing body. She has shown images of the trash bag and a CMC bag that was used during their stay at the shelter, both of which were entered into evidence.
And what did he do with the bag after he put her in there?
He put her back in the ceiling.
You mentioned being at the Families in Transition shelter for a month and a half.
Yes.
During that time, did the defendant begin discussing disposing of Harmony, getting rid of her body?
No.
At some point, did he begin discussing disposing of Harmony, getting rid of her body?
Yes.
And what was his plan? What was his idea for getting rid of her?
To use lime and dismember her.
Kayla stated that Adam was aware that lime could aid the decomposition process of the human body. However, extensive research from ResearchGate indicates that while lime has disinfection properties, it merely delays putrefaction rather than entirely preventing it.
As I had said to you, we will take a mid-morning break. I think this is a good time to do that.
The court takes a break before resuming the trial, with Kayla continuing her testimony about Adam's plan to dispose of Harmony's remains.
When you saw that bag of lime in the bathroom of Union Street, what was going on in that bathroom at the time?
Adam was trying to de-thaw her body.
When you say Adam was trying to de-thaw her body, what was he doing specifically?
Taking the clothes off of her and putting her in the bag of lime.
And when he was trying to de-thaw her body, where was Harmony's body at the time?
In the bathtub. And she just looked like she had just barely any skin. Like she was just a layer of skin and bone. And she was all bruised up.
And what was the defendant doing to de-thaw her?
He had the hot water running from the shower.
And what was he doing to Harmony's body during this process?
Taking the clothes off of her. He was cutting the clothes off of her and just de-thawing her.
Did he tell you to help him at some point?
Yes.
Did you obey him?
Yes.
Why?
'Cause I was scared.
Kayla stated that Adam did not tell her where he intended to dispose of Harmony's body, but mentioned his plan to dismember the body and use a NutriBullet to further disintegrate the remains. She claimed that Adam left in the middle of the night with Harmony still inside of the garbage bag, as she did not know where he went.
And that trash bag that the duffel bag went into, that the clothes went into, what happened to that trash bag?
I don't know.
Did the defendant tell you what he planned to do with that trash bag?
Throw him away.
Did he tell you specifically where he was going to throw it away?
He just said he wasn't gonna leave him in our trash area. He was gonna bring him somewhere.
Did he say why he wasn't going to leave them in your trash?
So that there's no evidence.
Did the defendant tell you where he planned to dump Harmony's body?
No.
Did he leave with the rental van at some point?
Yes.
Did he leave with the CMC bag at the same time?
Yes.
When did he leave?
It was in the middle of the night.
Did he say anything to you before he left?
No.
Did he tell you what he was doing?
No, but I already knew what he was doing.
And that's because he told you before.
Yes.
Did he tell you specifically why he wasn't telling you where he was going, where he was dumping Harmony?
Yes.
Tell the jurors what he told you.
He said he wasn't telling me where he was bringing her so that if anything like this happened and the cops got involved, that I wouldn't be able to tell. I wouldn't know where she is, so I couldn't tell anybody where she is. Only he would know.
Kayla concludes her testimony by stating that Adam grew increasingly suspicious, breaking things and threatening to kill her if she considered contacting the police. At the time, police were under the presumption that Harmony was with her biological mother, Crystal. A review of the incident report reveals that only one attempt was made to contact Crystal, which was a single phone call that went unanswered. Crystal also failed to attempt to contact Adam for an entire year. It was not until 2 years later, when Adam was found sleeping in his vehicle and subsequently questioned by police, that his responses aroused suspicion. During investigators' reconnaissance, Adam was seen in Walmart with a woman named Kelsey Small. The video shows the two walking through numerous aisles before selling a mobile phone for extra money. The two leaves shortly after and was eventually located by police at a nearby parking lot. Police noted that Adam was inside his vehicle with Kelsey Small at the time. Police stated that upon inquiring into Harmony's whereabouts, Adam would give contradicting answers, which inevitably raised police's suspicions.
What was your purpose of finding the defendant that day?
So the be on the lookout was issued during the roll call to locate Adam Montgomery in the hopes of locating his daughter Harmony, who family members hadn't seen for approximately 2 years.
2 years.
A warrant was issued for his arrest. SWAT team would conduct the search, arresting Adam by brute force. Adam was taken into custody under the presumption that he is simply being detained for an assault charge. After eventually coming in contact with the suspect, Adam was detained and given the opportunity to clear the air. Unbeknownst to him, he is currently facing charges of second-degree assault on his daughter, Harmony. Before detectives expound upon the current charges, the interview begins by Mirandizing the suspect and gaining basic information. This initial phase aims to establish a foundation for the interrogation, all while ensuring that Adam is fully aware of his rights.
Alright, appreciate it. Before we go forward, can we get a cigarette in here?
So, there's a sensor in there, so I'll work on getting you a cigarette at some point. I can't promise you one right now, just because the room we're in, and if this starts going off, I don't want to flood the building, you know what I mean?
Do you think they're gonna go off?
That thing will, the sprinkler, so, but at some point, we'll work on getting you. I know we have cigarettes in here, I know where they are, okay? You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alright. Do you need a water?
I don't need nothing.
You good? Okay. Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay.
Okay. What's not okay?
Nothing, what's up?
Alright. So I'm just gonna ask you some basic questions. You said you can read and write English, correct?
Sure.
Alright. Can you just state your full name for me?
Adam Montgomery.
And Adam, what's your birthday?
12290.
And what address are you using to
I'm
call?
not using any.
Okay. What phone number are you using?
I don't have one.
Okay. What was the highest level of education?
GED.
Okay. Where'd you graduate high school from?
I did it. I got a GED.
No, but I know, but like, where'd you get
While I
that?
was incarcerated.
Okay. Right now, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No.
Okay. Do you have any traumatic brain injuries or anything like that? Anything that prohibits you from recalling any memories or anything like that?
Not that I know of.
Alright. Alright. So we've met before, right? We met the other day. I know you've had a long time down here. You've kind of been a roller coaster. I'm going to apologize for what happened out there. That's not how I do business, okay? That had nothing to do with me. Those are guys that like to play G.I. Joe, alright? If it had been up to me and I could have gotten a hold of you some way, I would have reached out to you. But you don't have a phone, right?
Or you guys could have just told my wife you wanted me to come in.
But aren't you not supposed to be talking to your wife?
No, that's bullshit.
It's not. You're not supposed to?
No, I can't be.
Thank you. Look at that.
I can't be.
I guess they're going to let you smoke a cigarette here. They must have talked to somebody.
Adam was granted the privilege to smoke inside the interrogation room, a rare occurrence that offers valuable insight into his nonverbal cues and body language. This unique circumstance not only provides detectives with critical behavioral assessments, but affords Adam a sense of control and comfort, potentially leading to a more animated response. Importantly, Harmony had been missing for 2 years at this point, which in retrospect allows investigators to discern patterns of guilt and insincerity more clearly.
So I don't know why I was saying I can't talk to my wife because that's bullshit.
Maybe it's some old paperwork that somebody saw?
Yeah, from last year, but it was over and done with after I got out of jail.
So that's all clear.
DCYF said it was cleared up, the police said it was cleared up, everybody said it was cleared. They said that there was no contact order between me and her.
Okay, and that's Kayla we're talking about? Okay. Well, you know what, if that's the case, then that's my fault for maybe not checking a little bit further into it, so I apologize for that. Again, I apologize for the way things went down out there. Like I said, I'm not part of the SWAT team, I don't do that stuff. If I had had a good number for you, I would have just called you in. But I don't have you don't have a phone, you said, right? Okay. So I apologize for that. I do appreciate you being cooperative with me. You've never given me a hard time. I know we've only met a few times, so thank you for that. Let's talk about why we're here to talk.
Tell me what you want to say.
Tell me what you know.
I don't know nothing.
Well, what was our conversation about the other day?
You said you had a couple questions you wanted to ask me. You asked me the questions.
Well, what was our conversation about the other day? Remember we met, I mean, you remember that was only, what, a few days ago, right? We had a lot of worried people and scared people right now in the community. I know you're worried about the well-being of your daughter, and I kind of want to get ahead of this because I don't want you to be painted as a monster.
Well, that's what you guys are already doing.
I am?
No, we're not doing that. Oh, yeah.
Can you explain that to me?
That's what you guys are already trying to do, man.
Explain to me how I'm trying to make you, or whoever is trying to make you out to be a monster. Who's telling you that stuff? Is there somebody that I work with that told you that? Somebody you're close with, that they told you that?
No.
All right. But you understand this whole thing is getting a little out of hand, would you agree?
Of course. But
So that's why,
look, it's just the way you guys are going about it.
and again,
Yeah,
I don't
not you specifically, but
Right.
yeah, nobody comes out there like that for a second-degree assault charge. Nobody. Been arrested for worse charges. They don't come out and throw fucking flashbangs at my girlfriend's car and ram us into the fucking guardrail. They don't do that for a second-degree assault charge.
again, you understand what the charges are, right?
Second-degree assault, right?
Yep.
Okay.
There's also an endangering the welfare charge
Okay.
and interference with custody. Okay,
So how did I interfere with custody?
Before Adam arrived, a specialized operation unit was mobilized to locate and apprehend him using forceful tactics. Given Adam's extensive criminal history, he is cautious of the detectives' advances, knowing their methods deviates from the standard procedure. Detectives are aware of this apprehension and proceeds cautiously to maintain rapport and facilitate ongoing dialogue.
that paperwork that we served you the other day, you remember that?
Okay.
When they were in the alleyway, you remember outside of on Lake Ave?
Yeah.
There's paperwork that you have to comply with. You understand that, right? We had that conversation, did we not? Right? So that's what that's all about.
So second-degree assault charge. What is this referring to?
Well, that's what we want to talk to you about.
Well, explain to me what if I'm being charged with it. What the hell am I being charged with it for?
Well, your daughter had some injuries
What?
that you know about when you lived on Guilford Street.
No, I do not. What are you referring to?
Well, you were there, I wasn't, right?
What are you referring to?
I'm referring to her having some good marks.
What are you referring to?
Marks that were left on her by you.
Absolutely not. I have nothing else to say.
Like
No.
we talked about how we were worried about your daughter the other day, right?
Okay.
Do you remember that conversation?
I remember that conversation, but right off the rip, with the way you're approaching the conversation, you guys are completely out of line. So,
Me?
yeah.
Do I? In the time that you've known me, which
What
is
you just said to me, you guys are completely out of line.
okay, but so explain to me how are we out of line?
I have nothing to explain.
Okay, but wouldn't you rather explain it so we can make sense of it than just have other people's side of the story? Like, you want to defend yourself and like this picture people are painting of you. Now's your chance, man. Defend
Whose side of the story? Who's telling you these things?
people that were close to you.
Obviously not.
Well, maybe at the time, maybe not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw that reward on the news, right?
No, I did not.
Do you know that the reward is about $40,000 to find where your daughter is right now?
Okay.
When you start throwing money around like that, people come out of the woodwork that you would never expect to do.
Okay.
So, like I said, when I talked to you a few days ago.
Can I have another cigarette?
Sure.
When Adam is asked a very specific question, he acts unaware of the details mentioned by the detectives, despite witness testimonies corroborating the information. Adam also refrains from invoking his right to legal counsel, thereby enabling police to proceed with their line of questions. Adam's request for another cigarette is granted by detectives, who recognizes its dual purpose. This calculated exchange not only provides Adam with a brief moment of comfort, but allows detectives to maintain momentum through the interrogation.
I kind of told you this thing was going to get a lot bigger.
That's not right.
And we wanted to get ahead of it.
But you're sitting there telling me that right off the rip that there was something wrong with my daughter because of me. No, that's bullshit.
Okay. So if your daughter had marks on her at some point when you lived over there, how would you explain those?
How would she get those marks?
Well, I would love to know when the marks were there because DCYF came to my house multiple times.
Okay. And we know that they came there.
Right. And closed the case.
Okay. Do we know that DCYF is the flagship agency in the country?
No, but if there was significant marks like you're referring to, I believe they would have flagged something at that point and they would have said something. They wouldn't have came there and seen that the kids were well taken care of. All the kids loved being at the house with me.
So let me tell you about what second degree assault is. Because there's a lot that encompasses that charge. Basically, if there's a mark on a kid that's under a certain age, it constitutes second degree assault. Although it is a felony, which sounds extremely intimidating, it doesn't mean that somebody got their head bashed in or they got cut up or whatever. So, although it sounds pretty intimidating, the charge, I understand that. What we're talking about doesn't mean that it's the craziest crime that's ever been committed. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay.
So, somebody could have a bruise or a really bad welt on them, and that would constitute second degree assault for a kid under a specific age. So that's why that charge is there. So nobody is saying that you took like a baseball bat or like stabbed your kid. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. That is not what anybody's saying about you. Mm-hmm. So I know you're concerned with when I say second degree assault, but it sounds a lot worse than I think you're thinking it is. Are we kind of on the same page?
Yeah, but for you to sit there and say that it was inflicted because of me.
We're just going on what we hear. You're not telling us how it happened, so we're going with what we have.
But I don't even know what you're referring to. What are you referring to?
Your daughter had a mark on her face that multiple people, have told us was inflicted by you.
Multiple people that weren't even living with us at the time.
Well, there was enough people that had spoken about it.
Yeah.
People share knowledge of what they know.
So somebody, you telling him, and then he tells you, and then he tells you, so something that just gets passed down the line.
I'm not talking about like a game of telephone here. I'm saying that people say a story and then the details kind of fill themselves in, like corroborate. Do you know what the word corroborate means?
Of course I do.
Okay. You're a smart guy. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but when people kind of fill in the blanks, that's what I mean by like we're corroborating that story.
While detectives did not specify the exact nature of Harmony's injury, Adam immediately gravitates towards the worst case scenario, potentially influenced by a guilty conscience. Detectives attempt to reassure Adam that the injury could be minor, but Adam's response indicates a deep-seated awareness of his actions. His reaction suggests a reluctance to confront the severity of the situation, underscoring a psychological dynamic at play.
But this is your time to tell me, kind of explain that. You know, if you're saying this was a mistake or this was an accident.
I don't even know what you're referring to. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at, is I don't even know what you're referring to.
I'm saying she had a mark on her face. I mean,
I don't even know what you're referring to.
You don't recall your daughter ever having a mark on her face?
The reason DCYF came out to visit you guys, you don't recall that? Why did DCYF come out and start visiting you guys? What was the allegation?
If I remember correctly, it was because of, I believe at the time, I could be wrong, I believe it had something to do with my uncle saying I was using drugs, and I wasn't.
Now, who's your uncle, so we are clear?
Kevin.
Okay.
Adam's uncle Kevin Montgomery would notify DCYF reporting Adam's drug use. Unbeknownst to Adam, Kevin would also inform DCYF that he had observed Harmony with a black eye upon returning from vacation. Kevin also reached out to friends and family members seeking assistance for Harmony's welfare. However, the report remained unanswered for almost 2 years.
Thank you, sir. If you would please go ahead and state your full name and spell out both your first and your last name for the record.
Kevin Lester Montgomery, KEVIN MONTGOMERY.
Kevin would provide a detailed testimony about the traumatic events, specifically recounting the circumstances under which Harmony sustained the black eye.
Let me ask you, when you got home, did you see Harmony there?
I did.
Where did you see her?
I seen her standing in the kitchen.
And when you saw her in the kitchen, how did she look to you?
She had a black eye.
Can you describe it for us? How did the black eye look?
Full, like a raccoon's eye, black and blue.
Black and blue?
Yes.
And when you say full, what do you mean by full? Can you give us a good example?
All the way around.
All the way around. So when you saw her in the kitchen with this black eye, what, if anything, did you say? It's okay. Take your time.
Something along the words of, "Oh my fucking God, what did you do, Harmony?"
And who answered that question?
My nephew Adam,
Where was he?
standing right behind her.
And what did Adam say?
She didn't do anything. I bashed her around the fucking house.
Did Adam tell you why he bashed her around the house and caused the black eye?
He did.
What did he say?
He said he was in the bathroom moving his bowels, and that he put Harmony in charge to watch Declan, and when he came out, Harmony had her hands over his mouth, and I guess his lips were supposedly below. That's what was explained.
That's what Adam explained to you?
Correct.
And after he explained that, how did he say he caused the black eye?
I bashed her around the fucking house.
When you heard this from Adam, who did you tell about what Adam told you and seeing the black eye? Who did you tell?
You want names?
Yes, please.
Told my mom. Told my son's mother, Christina. Told my sister, Erin. My brothers, Sean, Michael, and Richard. I told one of Adam's friends, Nick and Aaron. I told Harmony's mom, Crystal. I told Harmony's foster mom, Michelle. I think I told my sister Janine, my mother Helen. That's kind of what I remember. Oh. Could you just repeat the question again?
That's all right. I believe you answered the question.
Okay.
Let me ask, did you also make any calls to the what's called DCYF, or the Division of Children, Youth, and Families?
I did.
And the Nicholas and the Aaron that you referred to, is that Nicholas the same person as Nicholas Ahern?
Yes.
And is that Aaron the same person as Aaron Rue?
Yes.
Why did you tell all these people? Why did you call DCYF about this?
Say that again?
Yes. Why did you tell all of these people?
To get help.
Help for who?
For Harmony.
Adam begins to delve into the intricate proceeding and custody battle between himself and Crystal, which inevitably led to him gaining full custody of Harmony.
At the time, I was going for custody for my daughter for at least a year already at that point. And Crystal was showing no interest of going to get our daughter back. So finally, in I don't know, December, January, February, something along them lines, the courts called me and told me I could come pick her up and bring her home. Brought her home. And then, I don't know, it was, I think the month before, my grandmother left with my brother and his girlfriend, and then the month after, I want to say, Kevin left.
So then who was left living at the house?
Me, Kayla, and the kids.
And so what time did DCYF get involved with you guys? Like, were they over there often, or was it just like a certain period of time? Or
They were there every single day. The police showed up every single day, saying
why were they
because, oh, that's what it was. That's what it was due. That's what it was due to. So Kevin moved out because between me and my wife and Kevin, we were supposed to pay the bills, keep the heat on, the gas on, whatever. Well, Kevin was supposed to pay the electric bill. He didn't pay the electric bill. Me and my wife, I picked my wife from work and showed up at home. They were shutting the electricity off. So me and Kevin got into an argument about not paying the bill.
Yeah.
And he took his shit and moved out. And then so the next day, or 2 days later, something like that, I don't know, DCYF showed up and the police showed up because they said that we were unfit to have the children at the house because there was no electricity in the house.
Okay.
But we had a generator running, we had the fridge hooked up to it, there was food in the fridge, everything was fine. The police showed up, seen that the kids was fine, there was nothing wrong with them. The DCYF showed up and they left.
And was that like summer, fall? Like, when was that?
I want to say maybe spring, going into summer, maybe.
Oh, okay. So like, you guys hadn't been there for too long then.
6 months or so.
Okay. And how did it end up that you guys got kicked out of there?
All right, so it was my grandmother's house.
Right.
They didn't pay the mortgage or whatever. They moved to Florida, so the mortgage payments weren't being paid. And I don't know, right around Thanksgiving sometimes, the sheriffs came and threw us out. And then me, Harmony, and Declan, and Seamus, and Kayla left.
And where the heck did you guys go from there?
We were in our car.
Oh, so you lived in your car at that time?
For a couple of days.
Okay.
And then
Did you have like a van or something like that back then, at least? What were you driving back then?
Chrysler of some kind, I forget.
Oh, so it was just like a sedan?
A car sedan, yeah.
Okay, so you're living in the car, so you, Kayla, and the 3 kids were living in the car for a few days, and then How'd you get up out of that situation? Like, who took you in, or where'd you guys end up?
We ended up going to her mom's house, Kayla's mom's house.
Okay, and what's her name?
Chris.
Chris, how's she? Well, I mean, she must be okay if she's willing to take you guys in.
Yeah. All right. They're like, all right. I. You know what, man? Like, I don't even want to talk anymore. Like, this is just beating around the bush, man. It just seems a little too silly to me.
When detectives bring up the name of Kayla's mother, Christina Lubin, Adam visibly and verbally withdraws. This reaction may stem from Christina's unintentional involvement, as she testified during trial, stating that she had left money for the couple in the same cooler Harmony was stored in.
Would you please go ahead, state your full name, and then spell both your first and your last name for the record?
Christina Lubin, Christina Lubin.
When did you find out that they had been evicted from 77 Guilford Street?
Kayla had called me at one point before seeing them at my house about having a flat tire and needing money for it. So I was leaving for the day, so I left them money in a cooler in my side hallway so that they could get their tire fixed.
You left the money in a cooler?
Yes.
Could you describe what did the cooler look like?
It was a red cooler with a white top that would flip open.
Despite Adam's reluctance to continue speaking, detectives proceed with their line of questions. They start to challenge Adam's ethical stance, giving him the opportunity to counter DCYF's depiction of him. This approach aims to prompt Adam to provide a more comprehensive account of his actions and motivations.
Well, I'm trying to figure out who can substantiate your claims that there's, like, you're not this, like, monster or person that either DCYF made you out to be, or your family who you didn't get along with, or whoever. So that's why I'm trying to, like, let you kind of speak your piece about all that shit, you know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying. I just got nothing else to say, man. And, like, oh yeah, and like, I just don't want to sit there and like, can I smoke another butt?
Sure. I'll be honest, I don't smoke cigarettes. I'm a little lightheaded myself.
I just know I smoke butts for a minute.
That's all good.
But yeah, no, but to sit there, man, and sit there and tell me you yourself too, like, this is why I feel like it's just all bullshit. This is just a game. I know it is. I'm not stupid. You fucking.
We're just trying to give you the opportunity to explain yourself.
You're sitting there telling me not to make me out to look like some monster. Well, but you told my girlfriend the other day that she should get the fuck away from me. That you don't even know who I am and what my past is like and all types of crazy shit. Like, but sit there and look me in my face.
Adam, I think you're talking about Kelsey.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Kelsey might be exaggerating a little bit.
Right.
I don't know her to exaggerate like that.
That wasn't us talking to Kelsey either.
Oh,
there was other people talking to her, just so you know.
She told me, she gave me your card and said this was the guy that said it.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you that I didn't say that. But if you want to believe it, that's fine.
I mean, she never had no reason to lie to me. So I don't know what she would lie about at that point.
She also told me she had no idea that you had a daughter, so I guess we could say the same thing about you telling her that.
Right, well.
Right?
She knew I had a daughter. I mean, I have one with Kayla, so she knew I had a daughter.
She didn't know about Harmony.
She knew I had other kids.
She told me she had no idea that you ever, like, lived with her and that you, like, barely knew her. I don't know if she was lying to me, because, or whatever, I have no idea. I don't know her. I know you better than her, so that's what I'm saying.
During this critical phase of the interrogation, Adam's request for another cigarette becomes pivotal. As the question begins to intensify, his smoking habits intensify as well, particularly when a timeline involving Harmony is discussed. Detectives reassure Adam of their commitment to finding Harmony. However, Adam's reluctance to engage further appears disproportionate to the gravity of the situation.
So Christina takes you guys in, and she's doing all right, and then would you guys move over to Union Street after that? Is that when you guys get that spot?
Nope, we go to the shelter.
And that's the one on
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Who's we? Who went to the shelter? They allowed you to go as a family to the shelter?
See, I thought they didn't let guys there for some reason.
They always let guys there. They didn't let me there this time for no reason. Their reason was bullshit, because I would have been there with Kayla again.
So back then they let you in there,
Oh, yeah.
and it was all of you guys. Like, it was the five of you. They let you guys stay there.
No. All right, see, yeah, you guys are just...
I'm trying to understand. I don't know your timeline of life, man. You're there. I'm not. That's why I'm trying to ask you these questions to clarify them.
I already told you the other day what transpired. So we didn't even go to her mother's house.
Okay. Who didn't go to her mother's house?
Harmony was all...
Okay, so Harmony didn't go to Chris's house. So explain to me how she didn't end up going to Chris's house.
I've already explained this to you.
Okay.
Well, there's some discrepancies between what you're telling us and what other people are telling us. You're saying you brought her down to Mass, that somebody said she came up from Mass.
I never once said I brought it down to Mass.
What did you say? She came up here to get her?
I never once said. I was audio and video recorded the other day. I never once said I went down to Mass.
So you're saying that she came up from Mass?
I'm not saying anything else.
Why is it that you refuse to talk about her every time we bring her up?
Because you guys are just sitting here beating a bush. It's over and over. You guys asked me what happened the other day. I told you what happened.
You wouldn't tell us the other day.
You guys talked to me the other day. I explained to him what happened the other day, and now it was just a charade. Yep. No, don't worry about it. You're not under arrest, and I'll come up with some fucking bullshit.
We didn't arrest you.
No, the other day. No, but then you had a fucking SWAT team roll up on me, and the fucking D-Techs follow me around for the last 3 days.
Yeah, people are coming out of the woodwork. That's what we're trying to tell you. Like, we don't want you to be painted as a monster. We want you to maybe explain yourself a little bit and give us some side of your story. We have nothing. We have just what we're hearing from people. $40,000 can drag a lot of people out, whether you believe you're your friends or not.
No, I bet
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I know it is. Absolutely, it is.
That's what we're trying to get. Now's your time. Like, you keep locking up on us. You don't want to tell us anything about her.
No, I got nothing else to say.
I think you care
about all my kids.
Right. But the one I care the most about is your daughter, Harmony. And we have people around the clock calling into us, giving us tips from all over the country because they care too to try to find where she is. My only goal, which I told you the other day, is to make sure that she's safe. I don't want you to get tied into something if you didn't do anything wrong. My job is not to jam somebody up for something that they didn't do wrong. And if you can tell me that you didn't do anything wrong, then I want to believe you because, dude, I've met you now a few times. I helped you out when you were at the hospital when you were having a fucking meltdown. You told me about your kids. I sat there and I talked to you. Dude, I could have fucking tased you right there, and I didn't do that because I saw deep down inside that you were hurting and that I wanted to help you. Right now, all I'm trying to do is help your daughter. I want to bring her home, and I can't do that without your help. Dude, I can't do that without your help. Help, hey, can you look at me? Help me, please. That's all I'm asking for. I can't sleep until I know that she's okay. And I know that you know where she is or what happened to her, but I can't do it without your help. And if you don't want to look like this fucking animal, because I don't think you are. Not that I don't think you are, I know you aren't. But I can only do so much for you, man.
I know.
I'm begging you to help me. Because as much as you're hurting inside, I'm also hurting inside, and I don't know how you can sleep at night because I'm sure it's eating the shit out of you. Am I wrong?
No, it's eating me apart. I know I'm not fucking seeing my wife, I'm not seeing my kids. You guys are just playing games like this. Is just...
Dude, but I'm not trying.
We're not trying to play games again,
man. Good. Like telling my wife and kids that I'm not allowed to see my wife and kids. Like,
but dude, that was a mistake from some court paperwork that hadn't been updated. So like I said, I apologize for
But
that.
it was updated, and DCYF told them.
No. This was some like DV paperwork I'm talking about.
But I'm talking about DCYF already told us multiple times that there was no contact order.
Maybe through DCYF, but
It could have been through DCYF.
Yeah.
So let's,
talking criminal.
dude, let's fucking forget about it.
Alright,
You've seen your kid, you've seen your wife and kids over the last how many days, right?
I haven't seen them in the last I haven't seen my kids in the last 2 days, 3 days.
Okay. You're always going to be their father, Declan, Seamus, and then Sierra, right? Kiera. And then there's Harmony.
I got nothing else to say. That's it.
The interrogation reaches its conclusion as Adam requests legal counsel. Complying with this request, detectives make a final attempt to elicit empathy from the suspect before ending the interrogation.
Hey, can you make me a promise? Like, man to man? Can you tell me that she's alive?
You're gonna play the same word games that you played with me the other
No,
day.
it's not word games.
I got nothing else
Because we
to
care,
say.
man. We want to know.
This isn't gonna go anywhere. Like, this isn't gonna stop. So
No,
you know.
no, it's not.
So
So
either get on the bus now or get run over.
I got nothing else to say.
Why is it you have so much trouble talking about Harmony?
Guys, I got nothing else to say. I want a lawyer with me.
We're gonna leave this copy of this ex parte or it's a petition from DCYF.
Good afternoon. I'm Attorney General John Formella, and I'm joined today by Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg. We're here today to provide an update regarding the ongoing investigation into the 2019 disappearance of Harmony Montgomery. Back in January, we announced that then 5-year-old Harmony likely disappeared sometime between November 28th and December 10th of 2019. Since that announcement, members of my office, members of the Manchester Police Department, the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI, and other law enforcement partners have been diligently continuing to work this case. In total, these agencies working together have devoted thousands of hours gathering evidence and pursuing numerous leads. All of these efforts have led us to conclude that Harmony Montgomery was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019.
As I stated from the beginning of this investigation and throughout, every effort has been made to bring Harmony home to her family. Our commitment to bringing Harmony home has not wavered, nor will it. Bringing Harmony home will continue to be the #1 priority of the Manchester Police Department. As I said from the beginning, I maintain the stance that there are people out there in the community that have information about this investigation who have yet to come forward. If you are that person, pay attention to me carefully. If you are that person, I implore you to do so now and come forward. I'm not asking you to do it for me, for the people in this room, the people that have been working this investigation. Do it for this little girl who's on this screen. The time is now. Time to step up and do the right thing. Make the call to that tip line or contact the Manchester Police Department any way you see fit. Harmony is a sweet and innocent child who deserves to be brought home to her family and friends. Thank you. General?
In January 2022, both Adam and Kayla were apprehended in connection with Harmony's disappearance. Although her physical whereabouts remained unknown, the investigation relied heavily on forensic analysis, behavioral evidence, and witness statements, prompting police to seize over 200 pieces of evidence from the couple's residence and vehicle. Forensic examination revealed traces of dried blood on items belonging to Harmony, suggesting physical abuse leading up to her presumed death. What began as a missing person inquiry evolved into a potential homicide investigation. The pivotal moment came when investigators searched the shelter, where they made a chilling discovery. Upon entering, officers immediately detected a familiar odor of decomposition emanating from the ceiling. They extracted ceiling tiles and the vent, later confirming through DNA analysis that the stains match Harmony Montgomery's genetic profile. This revelation solidified Harmony's tragic fate.
Good morning, Detective Riley. How are you today?
Doing well. Good morning.
And sorry, I just referred to you as a detective. Mr. Riley, can you begin by stating and spelling your full name for the record?
Scott Riley, Scottrilley.
And what led you? What information did you receive that led you to that shelter?
I wasn't part of there was an interview that was conducted and information was obtained that maybe that the child was placed in that apartment for a period of time.
You mentioned an interview being conducted. Was that with Kayla Montgomery?
It was.
Can you describe your response to the Families in Transition shelter that day?
We were told to go out there and we were going to complete a search of the apartment. I mean, the crime scene van was involved. It wasn't my case, so I didn't really have any of the planning. I was just kind of, let's go. You're going to help process the scene, and we obviously went out there. It says general other, really cold in units 2 and 5. Come check the thermostat. Slight odor when the heat is on. Done on 2/5 of 20.
Can you read the general description?
General other, weird smell coming from vents in the unit. Come check it out.
And again, can you remind us why you were going there that day?
There was information developed in the investigation that there's a potential that the missing child was placed above the ceiling in this unit.
And was there an access point to that ceiling?
There was.
And do you see it in the image there?
I do. It's the vent at the top.
When you arrived in that room, when you actually walked in, did you make any impression? Did you have any impressions?
I did.
Can you tell the jurors what those impressions were?
There was an odor. I could smell something. I didn't know what it was when I first entered the room, but I could tell there was an odor in the room.
Did you observe did you look into the opening that you created?
I did.
You observed when you...
As soon as I removed the cover, I could smell what I know is decomposition. I could smell a dead body, what I believed to be a dead body at the time, or it smelled like decomposition is the best way to describe it.
What is decomposition?
When a person dies, the body starts to degrade, I guess is the best word. It's a smell that you just won't forget.
Did you make any other observations when you looked into that vent?
I did.
And what were those?
I could see at first that there was, it looked like a stain right close to the edge of the vent. That correct? And I also noted that you can see the sheetrock dust, and I'm sorry if you can't hear me, it's hard to crank my neck around to see this. The sheetrock dust you could tell had been altered. Like you could see in the back, it's all fresh sheetrock dust, probably from when the place was constructed. And this over here appeared to have been, something had been in that area.
On February 7, 2024, Adam Montgomery's trial commenced, featuring testimonies from over 50 witnesses seeking justice for Harmony. Adam Montgomery received a sentence of 45 years in prison, convicted on charges including second-degree assault, witness tampering, falsifying physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. He will serve his sentence at the New Hampshire State Prison for Men. Kayla Montgomery was sentenced to an 18-month prison term for lying to a grand jury. She was granted parole and released in May 2024. Kayla remains under the supervision of the New Hampshire Department of Corrections until 2028. As for the victim, Harmony's body was never recovered. She was believed to have been dismembered by Adam, who possibly utilized power tools and a NutriBullet to dispose of her remains. While her physical presence is lost, Harmony's harrowing story will never be forgotten. If you found this video to be informative, consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.